Ciao, how's it going everybody? Welcome to the second episode of Zots, a series in which I talk and you listen to me talk. And I have weird jump cuts and I act awkward and it's fun for the whole family. So today I'm going to be talking about the video game Kero Blaster or Frog Blaster. Kero in Japanese means frog, so you could call it Frog Blaster. It's just a little clarification on the meaning of the name. Kero Blaster is a game developed by Pixel, who's actually the person who made Cave Story, which is actually one of my favorite games of all time. Actually, it's my favorite game of all time, so don't tell your mom, but I really like Cave Story. Okay, you can tell your mom. Cave Story is a wonderful, brilliant, amazing game, but how does Kero Blaster hold up, and is it a good game as well? That's a good game! There are certain things about Kero Blaster which are executed quite expertly. Just the design overall is really good. A good example of this is the starting room in which you also enter wherever you're trying to get back into the game after reaching a save point. This room actually genuinely teaches you all of the mechanics of the game literally on the title screen, and if that's not impressive, then I don't know what is. This brilliant level of teaching the players through the game's mechanics is definitely something that Kero Blaster excels at, and well, it does this with pretty much everything you get in the game. There's a jetpack and several guns, and it does this for all of them. The items are also very fun to use and all have different effects that work differently in different scenarios. Most of them are guns, and well, there's some pretty cool guns. I like leveling them up, and found it pretty enjoyable to see what the game had in store for me. But now we get into what is possibly this game's biggest fault, and that is that there's just not enough of it. In Cave Story, I felt like there was such an explorative world that it gave me time to get used to everything, and there was enough replay value to make me keep coming back to the game. Kero Blaster's biggest fault is that there's just not enough content in it, and that's kind of a shame, because it's really fun and a good game for the time that you have it. Now, I really don't like to use lengths as a factor that limits my enjoyment of a game or my rating of it overall. I feel like the lengths of a game can either enhance it or really make it just this really special little experience that works well for what it is. Take Journey, for example. That game did what it needed to do in the time that it needed to take. Kero Blaster, however, is a game that I feel like could have actually benefited from more lengths. And I mean that not as in I didn't get my money's worth, I mean that as in it didn't fully explore all of the mechanics and it didn't go as in depth into the secrets and whatnot as I would have liked, as in a game like Cave Story tends to do. I feel like putting the game longer into development could have really developed the story, the characters, which really aren't that developed at all. It has a very simple plot and it's about a frog janitor and the president cat, which is being consumed by this black stuff. Now, the plot does go more in deep when you think about it, and that's something I definitely respect about the game maker in general, but it's also still very simple. Overall, it just doesn't last that long, and it feels like they could have really developed certain things about it a lot more than they did. So I know I'm talking about a lot about the game's lengths, and this is really the factor in the game that I really felt like just could have used more effort and stuff. But it has to be said that the game is a ton of fun, and all of the areas are really fun to play through. In terms of difficulty, this game is definitely hard, but it's not too hard. It will actually reset you if you fail on a level, but I never felt disencouraged to continue playing because it's just so much fun, and it's not as hard as an NES game would be, the games that it's sort of modeled after. For me, I didn't find it to be too difficult, especially with the lengths of the game. If you just keep trying and going at the levels, I think you'll find that it's pretty reasonable. Overall, Kero Blaster is a wonderfully designed game, and it's a lot of fun for while it lasts. I really do suggest that you pick this up, because it really is a fun time. If you're into games like Contra, or, I don't know, whatever, shoot 'em up sort of genres, I think you'll really enjoy this game. And of course, as Pixel's own flair to it, which is really nice. I really like his style. I think it's very good. But I was also very surprised when I got to the end of the game just by the fact that it was over already. What can I say about Kero Blaster? I could say it's a fun game that didn't last long enough. And it didn't go really as in-depth with the secrets either, because there's just not enough stuff in it. There's not enough extra endings and stuff like in Cave Story. That's one of the things that I really liked about Cave Story is the replay value. This game doesn't have that. There are the secrets. Inform me if I'm wrong if you played the game, but as far as I know, there's not really any secret endings, and there's not really any secret stuff to go into deeper into the game, like secret weapons and stuff that you wouldn't know about unless you had really invested your time into it. I mean, there are secret one-ups and stuff, but there's just not enough of that, and I feel like it's a limiting factor in just the game overall, especially when the game is $5 on mobile and I think like $10 on PC. I'm not entirely sure about that. I would actually suggest maybe getting this game on mobile because it's actually quite good on mobile. It's one of the best mobile games I think I've played ever. I personally got it on mobile and I really enjoyed it. The control scheme is very well set up. The ability to continuously fire definitely helps. Oh, also the music is wonderful, of course, as always. If you enjoyed the Cave Story soundtrack, you are sure to enjoy this. There are definitely songs that will get stuck in your head. It's a short soundtrack, but it's definitely enjoyable for while it lasts. The constant fire, I guess, can get a little bit annoying, like just a sound effect. But other than that, I think the mobile version might even be the definitive one. I mean, I've come to understand that, but don't take my word for it. I think this game's perfectly fine to get on PC. Just for pixel games in general, I would recommend using a controller because, like this kind of game, you don't want to use a keyboard. Just my preference, at least. So yeah, the game has a great soundtrack, and it's a lot of fun to play, and it's really good. So you should pick it up. I would honestly recommend it. That said, I'm not entirely sure you might feel like you've got your money's worth just because of the extremely short lengths, but it is a really good game, and I really commend Pixel for making it. Don't go into it expecting the next Cave Story, because this seems like more of a fun little side project. I'm not entirely sure what else Pixel has in the works, but for the time being, I feel like this game is just here, and it's nice. It's fun to play through, and you can play through it again, because it's just fun to play, and I recommend playing it, basically. So if you haven't picked up Kero Blaster yet, which you likely haven't, you should definitely check it out. That's about all I have to say, I guess. If you have any comments, you can leave them in the comment section below. If you want to watch my other videos, you can click on the screen. Wow. If you would like to subscribe, you can do that as well. I really hope you guys enjoy this series and this video. If you do, then let me know with a like. And I will see you guys next time. Peace.